Good morning, everyone, and how are you this morning? I trust that you're doing well. I know that the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Carriacou, and those folks right there, our thoughts and prayers are with them at this time as they go through this difficult period. This is THG News Today on THG Network, and my name is Mervyn Hanley. We're programming for Wednesday, 3rd July 2024. If this is your first time joining us this morning, we ask that you subscribe to our network's channel so that you don't miss any, not just news, but as far as the weather, especially this time when we have the hurricane season from June 1st all the way down to November 30th. And thus far for this hurricane season, it has been just a nightmare for our brothers and sisters there in the Windward Islands, some of the Windward Islands. And our hearts and prayers go out to them. I mean, it is just looking at the photos and the videos, it is just devastating. It makes one very, very sad. And speaking of the islands, out of Grenada this morning, Grenada Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said on Tuesday, at least 3 people were killed and possibly more after Hurricane Beryl battered Grenada and its sister islands on Monday with winds in excess of 140 miles per hour with higher gusts. Mitchell said that the north of Grenada also suffered severe destruction, and he told reporters that the response from the region, as well as from Grenadians in the diaspora, has been overwhelming. Clearly, this is a traumatic event in our history, coming on the 50th anniversary of independence, and we have no choice but to rise from the ashes and to remain united and to build. We should never waste a crisis, and I think this is an opportunity again for us to strengthen our preparational response to natural disasters, which clearly will continue to happen. This is overwhelming proof of the dramatic changes like climatic conditions and its impact on us on small island developing states. Mitchell said that it is time for the developed countries to move past the talking and be able to realize that resources are in fact needed to build our resilience and to build our sustainability against this ever-present threat that they have created. And you know, I listened to Grenada's Prime Minister yesterday, and I've heard the same from Prime Minister Gaston Brown out of Antigua. People need to cough up, especially the larger countries. They talk about climate change and all of that, but they're not providing the necessary resources to the small island developing states, to our smaller countries. And yesterday on St. Kitts, we heard from Prime Minister Dr. Terrance Drew in his roundtable with the media, where he spoke quite passionately about this set topic, about climate change, about how we are affecting the planet and what can make it better and what needs to be done, and in terms of resources and all of that. So I encourage all of you listening right now to, even if it's just the first probably 10 or 15 minutes, and listen to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis in that very passionate plea for help and taking us to task and challenging world leaders to do more and to do better, and those powerful countries with all the monies and all the chatter to cough up the resources so that we can build a stronger and safer Caribbean territory, including St. Kitts and Nevis. So again, I encourage you to listen to go back and listen to the Honorable Prime Minister, whether on ZIZ Online, that's the YouTube channel, so you can listen to what he said yesterday. Out of St. Vincent, Vinlec's CEO, that's the electricity company there on St. Vincent, says they have been unable to contact any of their staff members in their Southern Grenadines. CEO Vaughan Willis said on Tuesday, just before Beryl's approach to the islands, Union Island was the only island in the Grenadines where a controlled shutdown was done because they were concerned about the safety of the staff and the equipment. Beryl decimated 90% of the housing infrastructure on Union Island's Grenadine Island. My goodness. And he's stating that we haven't heard from them since the shutdown. The status of restoration on those islands remains unknown at this time, as the primary focus must be on life, basic survival, and taking care of the people. So that's from the Vinlec's. Is it Vinlec? Yes, it's Vinlec CEO, Mr. Lewis. I know that folks have been imagining this time. Folks are asking for electricity. You guys, you gotta be crazy. You gotta be kidding me, right? You're asking for electricity at this time. I do understand it. It's going to be uncomfortable. It is an uncomfortable situation, and it's not going to be comfortable for a while. And when I say a while, whether it's a few weeks or a few months, I believe the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the other Caribbean leaders who are affected by Hurricane Beryl and CARICOM on a whole, they will do what they can to help our people. But I understand it right now. You don't want to hear anything about patience. You don't have water, you don't have electricity, you don't have internet, and it's not a comfortable situation. I understand that. But please try, for those who can hear under the sound of my voice, give the electricity company especially, give them a break. Right now, they're focused on searching for their staff and their family members. So appreciate that. They'll get to you. Yeah? And finally, in our news this morning, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terrance Drew out of St. Kitts and Nevis, emphasized the critical importance of building wealth and highlighted his administration's ongoing efforts to enhance the economic well-being of the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis during the Tuesday's edition of the roundtable held at the Koi Resort. According to SKNIS, Dr. Drew detailed several key initiatives aimed at wealth building and economic security. These initiatives included an increase in wages and salaries in the public sector, raising the minimum wage, advancing pension plans for government auxiliary employees, implementing social security reforms, and launching the Children's Finance and Education Program set to begin in September 2024. The Prime Minister emphasized the government's commitment to sustainable development and economic security. We are putting permanent sustainable things in place to secure our people, he said. No other country in CARICOM or the Caribbean has done what we have done. And this is a fact. We can have the politics and talk politics after when it comes to Prime Minister during the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party. But when it comes to these initiatives right here, we have to give the government, we have to applaud them, right? And no, I wasn't paid to say that because I know how some of you think, right? But we have to applaud them, including the increase in wages and salaries, raising the minimum wage, advancing pension plan for government auxiliary employees, implementing social security reforms, and launching the Children's Finance and Education Program set to begin in September. Those are huge. I know that people say that things are not happening or whatever the case may be, but I also think that there may be a public relations issue that they probably need to correct at the office of the Prime Minister or the government on a whole. Okay, so let's continue. Dr. Drew emphasized that the government remains sensitive to the needs of society's vulnerable and pledged that social assistance programs will be maintained to help those in need. Prime Minister Dr. Drew also highlighted the extensive subsidies provided by the government to cushion the effects of post-COVID inflation. The government heavily subsidizes water, electricity, on Nevis too? No, I don't think so. Cooking gas, gasoline for vehicles, my goodness, not on Nevis. Food and basic cable costs, ensuring these expenses do not rise. These subsidies total well over $250,000, he said, adding that spending on social safety net programs represents 25% of the annual budget, a contribution unmatched by any other country in the region. Prime Minister Dr. Drew reiterated the government's dedication to the well-being of the citizens. This government and administration will continue to work on the behalf of you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are aware that things are not perfect and will not be perfect. We hear you, but please know also that this government is humble enough to always seek solutions to make your life better, he said. And he went on, he addressed the economic strategy. Dr. Drew acknowledged the need for diversification beyond the Citizenship by Investment program, and he emphasized that while the government supports its people significantly, they are also working towards achieving a sustainable island state, reducing dependency on the CBI program. Yeah? And speaking of the CBI program, if I am not mistaken, please don't quote me, but I listened to the Prime Minister yesterday, but I got distracted, so I have to go back over what he said. And I know that folks have been asking about the CBI dividends that were promised to them, by this Prime Minister. And I believe that the CBI dividends will come mid-July. He spoke about the reform of the CBI that has been taking place. And I believe in the coming 2 weeks or so, folks will see their dividend. If I am not mistaken, that's what he said yesterday. And I stand to be corrected, but I know that I'm right. Right? Well, folks, that's our news for this morning, and it did not miss me, as you've realized that the Prime Minister spoke about the subsidies that his government has been making for the people of St. Kitts. Unfortunately, sadly, regrettably, the people of Nevis, they cannot speak of such, because on the island of Nevis, it's just rampant wastage of resources. Only a few. And so there's not money. Only a few are benefiting. So they don't have money as resources for other stuff, right? So that is why nothing can get done. But change will come. Change must come. And I know that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, she'll change Nevis for the better. The future is bright, and that is why the people of Nevis will elect the Nevis Reformation Party. Oh, reimagine Nevis right now. Just close your eyes and just reimagine Nevis. It will once again be the envy of the Caribbean. My name is Mervyn Hanley. Do join me again tomorrow morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time for a similar presentation. The news, of course, was brought to you the kind compliments of Feases on Nevis and the Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on St. Martin. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday.
Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are 2 locations, Coal Bay and on the Punfill. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Coal Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feases, the coziest spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feases, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They are also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.